Hello, everybody. My name is Joshua Fekasquez here with Tiffany. We are here with another episode of the CSL podcast, The Quad. And tonight our guest is going to be Iris. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But first, we're going to talk about some news. Get some news going. Also give it a little intros. How we're doing. How you doing, Tiffany?
I'm doing great. There was some news that took over my Twitter news feed this week. Did you hear that Evo is not having Melee this year?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's not like no one saw it coming, because I was actually also kind of seeing that coming, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that a lot of Melee people didn't get a little RIP all over everywhere.
Yeah, I guess it's because I'm detached from like, I guess, the Smash Brothers scene altogether, especially Melee. Like, I know it's a thing, but I mean, Evo stands for evolution. We have a new. I don't know. It's just kind of how things go. They put Ultimate in, which is the natural evolution in general. I think Brawl came after Melee, didn't it?
Yeah, I remember everyone saying like, "Oh, Brawl," or from what I heard, because I wasn't really into Smash at that time, that they were all worried that Brawl was gonna like take over. But I mean, the thing about Melee is, though, it has such a strong community. Like, Of course, it sucks to not see Melee at Evo, but like they'll survive without Evo.
Yeah, no.
They have such a strong community that it's not really going to like affect it that much. Though it does suck that I don't have an excuse to go to Vegas this year.
There's always an excuse to go to Vegas, with or without Evo, by the way. Vegas is just a glorious town, glorious city. By the way, I live in Vegas, for anyone wanted to know that. I live in Vegas. It's amazing here. You should go to Vegas no matter what. Vegas is awesome. Not to mention, there's more than just Evo here for gaming conventions. There's quite a bit. But that's not really what this podcast is about, so I'm not going to get on tangent like I do sometimes. Yeah. Now, Melee is going to be fine. I saw so many people whenever the announcement came out that it wasn't going to be there, that there was actually going to be a lot of people wanted to host like more local tournaments just to support it, just to get behind it. I don't know how long that'll last. I know things tend to, there's a lot of energy that gets behind things and sometimes fizzles out. And I don't know how ambitious the Melee community is, but I'm with you. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. It's just, because I know people, I don't play Melee for the record, but, I know people and I know the community, so I understand their, like, knee-jerk reaction, but most all of them kind of came back and were like, oh, it's, we'll
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing I saw personally, probably because I have so many people that I know that are in Melee. But
yeah.
On the CSL side, we did have NBA 2K close registration, so there's that. But there's also a giveaway, and I don't know if everyone knows about this giveaway because I want to give things to people, so you should definitely enter. But we have a giveaway for the San Jose documentary release, and I will probably talk about that like later on. But for now, if you would like to enter that giveaway, you can go to bit.ly/CSL giveaway, and it'll take you to that page. It closes on Monday, so everyone rush and enter. You can win one of 3 $100 Steam gift cards, $100. Okay,
Ooh.
So everyone should definitely do that. But in other news, playoffs have started.
Yeah, double elimination. We're having double elimination this year, so that's going to be a lot of fun because it gives other teams, obviously, double elimination, gives them a chance to come back into the tournament. And to me, that just makes the tournament way more exciting, especially during live events, because you see a team lose. Usually, obviously, they're out, but that could be fun for a team if you're rooting against them. But it gives the again, live events, I really like double elimination because it gives the fan base of that team that got lost the first time, gives them a little bit of hope coming back into it. I actually really like double elimination, and we're doing that in CSL, so very excited about that.
Yeah, I'm in general a fan of double elimination over single elimination. I know, it obviously takes longer, and that can be kind of tricky when you're doing things like CSL. So I'm very happy that we were able to do double elimination and figure that out, because it really does. It's not like if you make one like a team that was doing very well that maybe had an off day doesn't just get eliminated. They kind of get that second chance to prove themselves. Or
yeah, exactly.
like
Not to mention they can come back. Yeah, and they can come back and always rethink their strategy. Like some teams, yeah, like you said, they do have off days, but other teams they just go up against another team that kind of has their number, and that's a good way to learn. And you can always come back from that in double elimination. Yeah, like I said, I do think it makes it more exciting, and really anxious to see like how it's going to affect live events, because like I said, live events is kind of where I really like double elimination, because the fan base gets a little bit more passionate, especially if they're in the loser bracket, because they want to see their team go on even more so than before, because they know it's their last chance.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a person not collegiate related, but as a person who's attended the international a few times, woo,
oh yeah,
that can be very, 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 hype. So, speaking of which, let's head over to talking about the specific games here we have at CSL. So, CSGO overall, from what I saw, there wasn't really that many upsets. It seemed pretty straightforward, but it is only round 1 of playoffs, so we can't really talk a lot about. There's not a lot to talk about. We just have the teams coming in to talk about, so.
Yeah, there's not, as far as I saw, there's not an extraordinarily exciting matchup yet. Dota, though, they do have an exciting matchup because, we're going to segue over to Dota if you haven't noticed. They do have an exciting matchup because the current Grand Champions, RIT, are going to be taking on the former Grand Champions of UBC. And that one should be pretty exciting because, RIT, they've kind of had a bumpy road this year, but they've had a bumpy road on a high note. They lost to Stony Brook in the Winter Invitational, but they're still doing really well. Losing to them, they're still second place, or second. I guess you're going to call it second place considering Stony Brook beat them, but they're still former Grand Champions. They're still a really great team. UBC, on the other hand, they're a new UBC than what they used to be, a new UBC team. The former Grand Champions, but again, not the exact same team. So they're. They have something to prove here, and should be an exciting matchup. But remember, it is a double elimination, so no matter what happens, either team does have an opportunity to get themselves back in.
Yeah, and speaking of RIT and Stony Brook, they obviously have a little bit of a thing going because they faced off in the Winter Invitational and also faced off in the fall. But right now, they're tied basically 1-1 on wins, and they're on opposite sides of the bracket, so it's possible that they will meet each other again to settle the score once and for all here. So that will be hype if that happens. But we were talking about double elimination not too long ago, and speaking of its situation where double elimination is coming in clutch, Rutgers lost their Game 1 series, which apparently has happened for the last 2 years because they've always had some pretty awful luck with brackets, but this year it's double elimination, so this this Game 1 series isn't going to knock them out of their tournament. They have a backup. They have a chance to redeem themselves. So
and that's
it is.
Yeah. 2 years in a row. That's kind of heartbreaking. So I'm glad they have that opportunity. Segueing over to League of Legends, because we actually have another kind of heartbreaking opportunity. An opportunity to avoid heartbreak, I should say, because John Hopkins, they've it's only it's week. I think it's going into week 2 of the playoffs. John Hopkins, they've already lost their first match. They've already lost their first elimination, which is surprising because John Hopkins, they won the Winter Invitational. They were. I think you mentioned earlier, or I mentioned in your power rankings. John Hopkins was number 1. They came in pretty hype and they fell flat. So, like you said earlier, might have been having a bad day, but they only have one more elimination left, and John Hopkins they need to play at their best from here on out, and it's way too early for that kind of pressure.
And there were a lot of underdog teams in League of Legends as well. Manitoba, who made it all the way to semifinals in the Winter Invitational. They did defeat Northern Iowa, but they dropped a game. So, underdog teams are such a weird situation because it's kind of until you get to the playoffs, you're never really sure if the underdog teams are going to win it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems to be a pretty big trend. just overall in professional esports as well as the playoffs is really where you see which underdog teams are really good,
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly like, so, like JV, one of my favorite thing about JV is that, underdog teams can just kind of come out of nowhere and destroy somebody, destroy a really good team. Because I feel like the playing field, or at least, I guess the term's playing field for JV is a little more equalized, and on any given day, like you said, underdogs can they kind of, or well, I guess we both kind of said, underdogs, they can kind of come out of nowhere and upset somebody. So that's more prevalent in JV than it is in professional or even varsity games. So should be a really good tournament because there are a lot of underdogs participating, and again, John Hopkins, they were not an underdog and they're hard to defeat it. So kind of an example already being shown there.
I mean, I love seeing shakeups. I'm that person. I'm the person that roots for underdogs. I love seeing shakeups go in when it comes down to playoffs. I mean, the good thing also, we've talked about double elimination a lot, but it really is like the good thing about that though is it kind of ensures that like if there's a fluke or something like that, then the stronger team has a second chance to come back and prove that they are indeed the strongest team. So it'll be really interesting to see. Again, this is only round one of the playoffs. We have quite a few more rounds to go, especially now more so with double elimination. So definitely look to keep an eye out on all of these games and all these teams, because I'm sure we're going to see a lot more shakeups coming up soon.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on with playoffs in CSL. Make sure you're catching them live on Twitch. Games are always being broadcast. But you had an interesting interview, I hear.
I did. It was with Iris from Penn State University. Penn State University, obviously, they're a very well-known school. Iris is the president of the esports club at Penn State. And we just talked about her journey from before presidency, because she's been the president of that club for only actually a couple of months now, since January. So she's been a part of it for a long time, but stepped into the leadership role very recently. We talked about that. Talked about how the obstacles of being in that position. What kind of obstacles come with being in that position. How Penn State looks at esports and how they view the club, and we get into all sorts of things. It's interesting, very interesting, and I really hope everyone enjoys it, because I did, and I think I think Iris has a lot to tell, especially from that point of view. Normally, there's a lot of we get some of these smaller schools that have esports scholarships, but Iris is from a massive school that doesn't have esports scholarships yet, so it's really good to get that kind of perspective from I guess that kind of perspective on esports, in that kind of field, being in a big school like that.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and take a look at that interview then.
Hello everybody, my name is Joshua Fekes-Quist. I am here with Iris. She is the president of the Penn State University Esports Club. How's it going, Iris?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Fan-freaking-tastic. And like I said, I kind of got you on short notice. So once again, thank you. I thanked you off camera. I'm going to thank you on camera as well. Thank you for joining me. You actually just got done playing a game, and you won League of Legends, so congratulations on that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think I just said thank you. I don't know why I said thank you. I was complimenting you, and I think I said thank you. I'm just going to move forward.
You can edit that out.
At this point, I'll probably just leave it in, because I'm just back myself into a corner. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and my glasses are on too. That's another thing, is that I can't have my glasses on because I have a ring light and it shines through. So I made that mistake once. And,
I know that struggle. Again.
Yeah. So you've been president of the Penn State University Esports Club since January. How did that come about? How did you go? Because I remember the old one, Joseph. How did you get to be in that position? How did Iris become the president of Penn State University Esports Club?
So I've been involved in the club since I was a freshman. I actually became an officer second semester of my freshman year. I was our social director, and I ran our little mentorship program. And then from there, I was vice president, and I pretty much just ran the joint. So when the position came up in January, our division heads voted me in. So
Okay, and Penn State, they don't have a recognized esports program or anything, so that means that what you're doing is technically voluntary, right?
yeah, we are 100% student run.
That is okay. So that's I find that kind of crazy, and I want to get your perspective on this one because. Penn State, they're very well known in the collegiate scene. You have a multitude of games, League of Legends, Rainbow Six. What else? I mean, what games do you have at Penn State right now?
Well, right now we have, I believe, 13 games. We have Csgo, Dota, Hearthstone, Overwatch, Rocket League, sorry, Apex Legends, PUBG.
Already on the Apex train.
Fighting games. Well, it's kind of, we have a battle royale group, and they kind of go to all of the fighting games because it's such a. All of the games are pretty similar, and we found a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
I think World of Warcraft is one I'm missing. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, that's still a lot for Penn State. Penn State having that many games, having that dedicated of a group. Has there
we
been
are
any
200 members strong, so a lot of people.
That's insane. Okay, so that's insane to me because Penn State. So usually, whenever you get schools, and I know Penn State's a big school, very large school, very well known in the collegiate athletics in general. Has there been any sort of, I guess, nod from the faculty, any sort of acknowledgement from the faculty to possibly make it an actual, position, make it actually start a program at Penn State? Is there any headway on that?
I mean, with any big school, you're gonna find yourself in a little bit of a screaming match, I guess, with all the other organizations. So we've talked to athletics. We actually had to speak with them a couple of, I think last year or the year before, about getting into Big Ten. I think you guys actually did an article on that.
We did.
Yeah, and how we were one of the only colleges not able to play in the first season of Big Ten League of Legends, just because our athletics department didn't want to release the logo. But we were actually able to talk with them a lot more last year, and they explained that it was just a misunderstanding. Overall, they're interested in what we're doing, but they don't really have the resources right now to fully support us.
But it is on their radar. Like, they know you exist. Obviously, you're 200 strong. There's almost no way you can't. They can't know you. Can't not know you don't exist. But what do you do from there? Because you're again president of the esports club. You've talked to the faculty. That's just not working out right now. So what do you do to maintain the growth or maintain the club and increase growth? Things like that, or like as a president, what are your responsibilities to the club to try to make it thrive?
Oh, that's a broad question. Well,
answer as broadly or as narrow as you want. I'm sorry for making that so broad.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like two parts. So the first thing is, what do you do to make the administration continue to take notice? We obviously we try to win. Our Hearthstone team was able to. I think we were first place over the summer, which was pretty awesome. And obviously our athletics took note of that, and they generously gave us a donation of a large sum of money a couple of months ago, just because they noticed that we were doing so well. And so just staying on their radar by really just promoting what is basically the Penn State brand, which is just excellence in whatever you're doing. As for what are my responsibilities, as I said, we are entirely student run, and a lot of duties end up falling into the lap of the vice president, which I was previously, or the president. So I have done everything from planned an event to coordinated a competitive team. So
you do have an insane workload in general.
It is definitely a full-time job.
Yeah, and that's what again, that's one of the probably most remarkable things, that it's essentially it's voluntary. That's that's huge, and like that's the sort of thing that kind of started in these other schools that it started blowing up, and now you do have scholarship schools or schools with scholarships for esports because of that sort of initiative. So hopefully there is a future for Penn State there, and hopefully I really do hope you're a part of it because it seems like you are busting your ass to try to get everything going there. With that being said, what are some of the struggles that you're finding, just being from, I guess, from vice president to president now, as for the esports club?
In all honesty, my duties haven't changed that much.
Yeah.
I would say that it was definitely a little bit harder to really like lead because I wasn't like the leader as vice president. But now being president, I try not to do it, but sometimes you just have to like pull rank and be like, get this done. Um, I mean, with any student-led organization, there's going to be some drama, some infighting, and all you can really do is like focus on what matters, like getting it done, just building something that you can look back on and be proud of. So just kind of focusing and zeroing in on what you can do rather than what other people think of you.
Fair enough. For League of Legends specifically, your team is in the Big Ten. What does that mean to like the Penn State organization? Because if I don't know if it's changed, but I remember last year and the year before that, Big Ten schools they got a stipend automatically for just being in the Big Ten. If I'm not mistaken, that's still the same this year, correct?
Well, they've actually been a little bit quiet with us recently. I haven't heard anything directly. We do have a League of Legends team manager, and his primary job is staying on top of that. I'm gonna say I'm not entirely sure, just because there's so much going on in the organization right now. But they're doing some awesome stuff, and they're really representing our club in a great way. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to know exactly everything. You have over a dozen games you have to represent. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that being said, talked about earlier, you were just subbing in for a League of Legends team. I think that was for our circuit, right? That was for CSL.
It was, oh no, sorry, I misheard. It was actually for our internal League of Legends tournament. We run a PSU LCS every year. It's, our League of Legends head is very talented, and he has like this insane point system, round robin type deal. And so, it's really cool. That's probably where the majority of our League of Legends players come from. I think there is like 50 or 60 people involved.
Okay, and like so you have in-house. So I guess Penn State's huge. I guess isn't it? Penn State is rather large. Yeah, you guys have enough. You said you have 200 member.
40,000 undergrad students. So.
That's a huge school.
Yeah.
I think that was like as large as the undergrad students, like as large as my normal, like my entire school when I was in college. But so with that being said, how do you plan on staying in this sort of position after graduating, or are you trying to get more into the professional scene, or just something beyond esports, collegiate esports, I should say?
I mean, gaming has always been a huge passion of mine, and Penn State Esports just happened to be the largest gaming organization on campus. It also helped me refine a lot of like really cool skills like social media and like event planning and all that. I'm really looking to stay in gaming and work at like a gaming company or on a gaming team of some sort. Last summer, I interned on the gaming marketing team for Corsair, and that was a really cool experience. So I'm looking further down that avenue.
So pretty much what you're saying is you want to be paid for the stuff you're doing now.
Yeah, pretty much. That would be fun. If I could get paid for this job, I probably would never quit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That actually sounds a lot of fun. I mean, in general, being paid is fun, but voluntary. No, I understand that does take a little bit out of you after a while. Is there any future plans for Penn State University that you have in mind, particularly that you want to enact? Well, and if you can't talk about some of the things, obviously don't. But as the president of the esports club, what are you trying to do to look forward into the future?
So there are I found there are short-term goals, which are goals that I feel I can accomplish in my time here, and long-term goals, which are things I'm really just building the foundation for. I think that in the short term, we're really just trying to find a space on campus to call our own, like a computer lab where we can set up gaming PCs and have our teams scrim and really just have club meetings, you know. As for long term, I would love to see Penn State esports become a legitimate, recognized body within the school, like more official, whether that is as an athletics program or a student involvement program. I don't think that's for me to say, but everything I'm doing right now is just laying that groundwork so that future presidents, vice presidents, whatever, can really push that forward.
Awesome. That's I so one of the reasons why I guess I'll talk about I guess I'll go on a slight tangent for a second if you don't mind.
Yeah.
One of the things I really liked whenever I first got into collegiate was I mean everything was volunteer at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was people like with the attitude that you're having that set the foundation to grow and actually become a scholarship school. And I don't know. I guess I just want to say, like, I think that's really admirable, and I don't know. I, I'm, I just want people to appreciate people like you, because that yeah, that's one of the reasons why I stuck in esports, because that sort of thing, like,
That is
I don't know.
definitely also a struggle. Definitely being in the background. I think I don't remember where I read this, but I read somewhere that like you could be doing everything right, but like no one will really notice. But the second you do something wrong, everyone will notice.
Yeah,
So
as
like
a, yeah, that,
that's really
yeah,
been true to life. But you
yeah,
know,
that.
you get the pleasure where you can from like people being like, I really like this event, or like, thank you for inviting me to the club. Little things like
And
that.
as far as you personally are concerned, Iris, do you have any sort of I guess personal esports endeavors coming up that you want to kind of accomplish on your own terms rather than as an organization?
I mean, I guess like a mini plug, I will be in at PAX East in Boston this year, and I will be on a Collegiate Esports panel. It's Sunday at 2:30, I think, in Bumblebee, but it's going to be me, our previous president, Joseph Rudy, who's now the director at Coker College for
Mhm.
esports, and a couple of other really awesome people that I know in the scene. So if you're in the area, please come by and say hi, because I
And
love meeting new people.
when is PAX East again?
It's kind of Penny Arcade Expo.
No,
It's
no,
like
yeah.
oh,
When is
sorry.
it? When is it?
Oh, shoot, I don't know. Um, it's the 30th and the 31st.
30th and 31st of March.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take your word for it. If not, you can always Google Penny, PAX East. It happens every year. I know PAX West also. So either way, go meet Iris, and yeah, awesome. So look forward to that. I think we're about time to wrap this one up. Actually, so I took my glasses off. I have no idea what time we're running on here, but
It's I think 20 minutes, 18
okay,
minutes.
that's about wrap up time. I think I told you about 15 to 20 minutes. I think I told you something around there. So, you have any shout outs? Anything you wanna plug? Social medias, PSU, anything like that?
I mean, we are on Facebook, Twitter. You can find our Discord on any of those. If you are a prospective college student and you're interested in attending a great university, we also have some cool esports stuff to do on the side. And we are having our big capstone event in March. I believe it is March 23rd and 24th. That's the Nittany Invitational. If you're in the East Coast, Pennsylvania area and you're interested in attending, check out our Facebook. The event is up. So,
With that being said, real quick? What's the capstone of it? Like, what is this? Is this some PSU organization, like an event thing going on?
yeah, we have a big event, a big LAN every spring, as most
Okay.
colleges do.
Right.
Ours is invitational style, so if any teams feel like traveling and testing their mettle against our local teams, they're more than free to. I believe we'll have some other local schools like Rutgers, Penn Tech come out and compete as well.
Awesome. All right, Iris, president of the PSU Esports Club. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So yeah, that was my interview with Iris from Penn State University. Hope you all enjoyed it. I hope she enjoyed it as well. I know I did. It's always cool getting a perspective. Whenever you're in a giant school like that, seeing these smaller schools around you get these esports scholarships, and you're in a giant school, and the giant school has yet to truly embrace it. Obviously, as you heard, there are there is some acknowledgement from them, from Penn State faculty, but the point that Iris wants to get to is not quite there, and she's working her ass off to get there. So wish her luck in the future, of course. And again, hope you all enjoyed the interview. But I think it's about a wrap. You have a couple more things to say, I believe, yeah?
Yeah. So as I said, this is coming to the end of our show this week. But we did have that giveaway, like I said earlier, the San Jose State University documentary giveaway, very long name. But if you would like to enter, go ahead and enter bit.ly/CSL giveaway. We're giving away one of three. We're giving away 3 $100 Steam gift cards. So very significant, I would say. So get on that and enter to see if you can get one of those. And speaking of the documentary, if you haven't seen it yet, you definitely should. You can find it on our YouTube channel, or just go to bit.ly/CSLSJSU. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I worked on it, but it has some really interesting. We talk about a little about the leadership difficulties and changes that they had at SJSU, and they talk a lot about communication and things that they could have done to avoid it. So I really do think it's worth taking a look at, because you can really see how other clubs deal with, another club dealt with a major leadership change, which can usually be a pretty big, almost death blow to clubs. I know that it nearly happened in mine. So, but besides that, that's all we have for today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Joshua.
And we'll see you again next time.